everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to see about test plan. So let's see what we're going to uh, cover today. So what is test plan? Why create a test plan? What to include in test plan? And contents of test plan. What does it have? So let's start with what is test plan. A test plan is a document that defines the strategy that will be used to verify that the product or system is developed according to its specifications and requirements. It describes the scope of testing, testing techniques to be used, resources required for testing, and the schedule of intended test activities. The scope helps in identifying test items and the features to be tested. A test plan also contains details of who will perform a given task. A good test plan covers all the testing phases in software development lifecycle. So now let's see why create a test plan. As we know that testing is an important process in the SDLC which controls and determines the quality of your deliverables. So if you want to deliver a bug-free product at its planned timeline, you need a good test plan to make it happen. Making a test plan offers multiple benefits. It is the guidebook for the testing process. It directs your testing approach and describes the testing practices to be followed. It contains details of the testing scope, which prevents team from putting any effort in testing out of scope functionalities. It helps to determine the time and effort required for testing the product. It clearly defines role and responsibilities of every team member, so every individual in the testing team knows what is required of him. It provides schedule for testing activities, hence it provides a baseline schedule to control and test and track your team's testing progress. It outlines the resource requirement and equipment needs which are essential to carry out the testing process. So it can be shared with your client to give them insight about your overall testing process and gain their confidence. So now let's see what to include in a test plan. So according to IEEE 829 standards, the essential elements of a testing plan include the following, which is test plan identifier, introduction, test items, feature to be tested, feature not to be tested, approach, item pass fail criteria, suspension criteria, resumption requirements, test deliverables, testing task, environmental needs, responsibilities, staffing and training needs, schedule, risk and contingencies, and approvals. Now let's see all these items in detail to have a clear understanding of these sections. So introduction. In the contents of test plan, in the introduction part, the purpose and scope of testing are included in the introduction part. Purpose is to provide feedback about the quality of product. Scope is about what features to be tested and what features will not be tested. References includes various documents such as requirement specification, design document, project plan, user guides, or process documents. Coming to the test strategy and approach, it covers the description of overall strategy and approach to testing, included by breaking down the huge task into smaller and manageable tasks. It identifies the right type of testing to effectively test a given specification of features. The techniques, testing tools, automation if any, are included. List of non-functional tests to be performed are all part of test strategy and approach. Test criteria. It includes entry and exit criteria. So entry criteria includes a set of guidelines used to determine whether a system under test is ready to move or enter a particular phase of testing. For example, if you can start system testing once the code has passed unit testing. Exit criteria, a set of guidelines used to determine whether a system under test is ready to exit a particular phase of testing. When exit criteria is met, either the system under test moves on to the next phase or the test project is considered complete. Suspension criteria. The testing process is suspended when no further testing is feasible. It can happen due to several reasons like the system under test repeatedly fails or crashes due to defect. Resumption criteria. When the defect is fixed and testing can be resumed is known as resumption criteria. These criteria are normally mentioned in the test plan, which helps to save the project time and cost. Test deliverables. It includes test plan, test design specification, test case document, test logs, test execution reports, bug report, test summary reports, test data sheet, etc. are called test deliverables. Assumptions and and risks and contingencies. The list of all the assumptions made by the testing team will be maintained here in this section. For example, test data. So the list of all the potential risk and corresponding plans will be maintained in this section. Risk. Employees might leave the company in the middle of the project, unable to deliver the project within timelines and customer imposed deadlines. Solutions. Bench strength should be good, proper planning, what's need to be skipped in case of imposed deadlines, and execution to be on priority basis. Responsibilities. Identify the groups responsible for managing, designing, developing, fixing, preparing, executing, witnessing, and checking. The group may include the developers, testers, IT operations staff, user representatives, technical support, database team. Resources requirements. Facilities required, hardware required, software required, special requirements such as purchasing the license based on certain needs are considered. Training needs. Specify test needs by skill level and identify training options for providing necessary skills. Team without proper skill for the project tend to lag in delivery within timelines. Defect logging and tracking. The process of defect logging and tracking the defects is included, which has the details of tracking system like how to set the priority and severity of the defects, the ownership of defects and management. Matrices means measurement, which is important for monitoring the test process. So it contains the result of the number of tests, cases executed, number of failed, defects log, pass percentage, etc. So approval information, who has approved, which when it is approved, will be maintained in this section. The sign off and approval is the first step to start the testing. So for example, we can see here like somebody person named John approved and so dates, which is April 25, 2018. And the last section comes the release criteria. The release criteria is the final step before it is handed over the further process. So it contains percentage of test cases passed, known defects to be covered in the next release, risks associated, and their contingencies. So let's see below a few items like zero high priority bugs for all open bugs, documentation, release notes with workaround, all planned QA test runs. So at least 90% test percent pass should be the count and number of open defects. The format of test plan document may vary with the type of product and the organizations. For larger and complex projects, you can prepare a master plan with high level details of overall requirements. The master test plan is supported by a subsidiary test plan with the required details for testing of each components or module. So here is attached a simple test plan for your reference. Hope this will be giving you an idea like how to start writing a test plan, the contents and all the description parts in every section. So this is how it looks like. So that's all for today's video. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. And if you think it was helpful, please share with your friends, like and subscribe. See you next video. Thank you.